Welcome to Wellthing Talks. I am your host, Alicia Castillo Holley, bringing you real-life conversations from Silicon Valley or somewhere around the world. We will talk about disruptors, angel investments, venture capital, and of course, family offices. Join me along with my children, their families, friends, disruptors, and investors as we explore the fascinating world of creating wealth in a completely different and authentic way. Hello, everyone. It is such a pleasure to meet my dear cousin, whom I've never met in person, Stefan. Thank you so much for being here. Tack.
Yeah, thank you so much. Tack, tack.
Tack, tack. Tack så mycket. That's just about it.
That's pretty good Swedish.
Yeah, well, I know. I'm learning Swedish, and one of the first lessons is I see a hot guy at the beach, and I send it to your mom, and she's like, not in Sweden. You have to go to the topic. So thank you so much for being here. Tell us, what are you doing now, and how did you get to do that?
Yeah. Well, I'm now working as a keynote speaker and workshop facilitator. I call my process from noise to clarity. And I've done 20 years of leadership trainings before. I've been working with over 1,000 people, and my specialty was longer programs between 1 week and 1 year. So we got to know each other pretty well, you could say. But this new topic with clarity is quite a funny story, because when I was about 30, 35, I saw this story in the magazine about a Japanese consultant coming to a European car manufacturer, and they wanted him to teach them how to speed up the conveyor belt. And his approach was to pull up a chair and sit on it quietly for 6 hours, just watching. And then he called the manager, according to the article anyway, and then just made a mark on the floor and said, take out this part, and you will increase the speed of about 20 to 30%.
Wow.
And that, it struck a chord in me because it was so simple. And when I was younger, I was a sprinter. I was in the track and fields. So I like to go in, do my work, and get out. So that the memory I have of that incident is like, that's me. That's what I want to do. And then I forgot it. This is the funny thing. I wasn't ready, but I knew my direction. And then during the years, this memory has popped up a few times. And then the last time was about a year ago. And suddenly I felt, I'm ready. Now I understand what it means. It's the clarity, it's the focus, the mindfulness. It's the simplicity, being in a very complex environment. This I want to master. So this is what I'm doing now.
Wow. You remind me of a saying in Chile. You know, I lived in Chile many years. And they have a saying, a very different culture than Venezuelans. I mean, they're the British of Latin America, very different culture. But they have a saying, I'm going slowly because I'm in a hurry.
Yeah.
And what they say is, I'm going to take my time to observe, to be focused. I mean, I'm not going to jump into conclusions. I'm going to take my time and observe, so I am more certain where I want to go, how I want to go, and I make less mistakes. And yeah.
There's a similar saying that the Navy SEALs in America have. Go slow, go smooth. No, slow is going smooth. Going smooth is going fast.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, because you cannot, And it's not being slow, it's doing the right thing. Then you're fast. But you have to be clear and present to decide what that movement is.
And leave the noise out.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that is so interesting because a lot of our people, a lot of the people that come to the podcast are founders or investors.
Mhm.
And just this morning, I had this conversation with a very interesting moonshot technology and great team. They've been working so hard for like, I don't know, 15 years on direct to consumers, and they found this and they want to grow it. And they have never received venture capital, and which is what I do. And then they say, well, we have the space, we have the retailers, we have the airlines, we have
Yeah,
hospitality. They had a lot of things. And I told them, well, first of all, don't get venture capital because it's venture capital. So you
yeah,
only get venture capital because you're going to grow very fast. And to grow very fast, you have to be extremely focused because
yeah.
otherwise, if you're dispersed, it doesn't work. But also, I said, you have to find one thing. You have like five, and
Hmm.
something is going to give. And even if you're extremely talented at doing that, it comes at a huge personal cost. And this was a
Yeah,
couple, husband and wife. So I said, if you have 2 hours of your week that you can stop worrying about the company and you can go for a walk, just cuddle, just have a nice time together. You're never get, you're never gonna get that time back.
yeah,
So it just doing a lot of things doesn't necessarily allow you to be less risky or allows you to be more successful. It just adds a lot of noise. And it's
yeah,
so hard today, especially when we were talking before with AI, that you have the
yeah,
illusion of talent
yeah,
and the illusion that you can do all of these. And, if you don't have the experience, it's just not going to go.
yeah. It's true.
So you've had done a ton of things with a lot of people. Do you have any
Yeah.
juicy stories that you can share? Any lessons that you've learned?
So in my keynote, I mentioned three doors to clarity to make it simple and manageable. There are many doors, obviously, but one door is asking the right question. As you know, answers come and go. How do you feel today? The answer will be different every day, but the question stays. Questions, the right questions are forever. So I had a workshop, um, and we talked about questions. And a guy says, "What would be the proper question to ask my boss to double my salary?" And everybody laughed, of course, because it's hard to find that question. And if you just ask, "I want double salary," you will be laughed out of the room. So, but I found this question for him, that I want to make double salary. What do I need to do? And he laughed. And the funny thing with this story is his boss was sitting next to him. So he turns around and asks him, and the boss just laughs and say, "Let's talk about it later." And I don't know exactly how much more money he got, but it was more than 50% up because he got more things to do. He took on some more project or something. So he hiked the salary in one question. And to come to that clarity, that's how you can use the right question.
So that's very interesting because I have what I call my magic question when I interview founders to invest in
Ah,
them. And
yeah,
I always ask them if if I had a magic wand or if I were a genie and I
yeah,
could give you a grant, one wish, what can I do for you? And I don't know
that's
what you
cool.
need, but you know what you need. And here's the
Yeah,
thing, if the answer is money, it's not a good founder
yeah,
because money is an illusion. You don't need
yeah,
money, you need something, and you use
yeah,
money to pay for it. And
yeah,
like this is free consulting, free advising for a lot of people, but we're not charging for that. And and it just gives you a different framework in this
Mhm.
podcast. But when you ask people, what do you need? If the answer is money, they're not looking at solutions. They're looking at problems. I can't
Yeah,
do this because I don't have money. And
that's true.
you can do whatever you want. But
Yeah,
when people tell me I need a lab, or I need to hire a salesperson, or I need to find somebody that can help me supply chips, for example, which is a
yeah.
big problem now, or I have this is the hurdle that is going to prevent me to grow, then
Mhm.
you can work on that. But money,
Yeah,
if all you want is money, you're just going to throw that money away.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you were to write yourself a letter to your younger self,
Yeah.
what are the things, or what is the thing, I don't know, that you have learned uh, in the last 20, 30 years that you didn't know? What would you tell yourself? Remember these, or I found these. What would that be?
Yeah. Um, the funny thing, I think we know when we're young also, but we don't take it seriously. So, because when I go back, let's say with this concept of going from noise to clarity, I can see that's where my peak was as a leadership trainer, taking people to clarity, but I didn't have words for it. So I knew it all then, back then, but I didn't focus on it because I haven't defined it. So I think I would tell myself actually to take it easy, not to jump into projects as fast, maybe, and find the clarity, what really resonates deeply in me. So I have the stamina to go on, even if the results don't come in 3 weeks or 3 months or something like that. So to go a little bit deeper, connecting to my projects and also relationship, the same thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. How do you do that? How do you think anybody else that is listening can apply that to their life? Do you have any couple of tips, like the guy with the chair?
Um, could I do this for free? I could do my work for free. If somebody paid for my living, I could happily travel the world and talk for free because it touches me. It touches something deep inside that I want
Mhm.
to convey.
That
So
you want.
for me, that's the level.
And how
And
do you think people find that? Do you think people find that by looking deep, or is there any way we can speed that up, or we can't?
no, I think just asking yourself the question, if I didn't get, let's say, like I ask a founder, if you didn't get big success and you didn't get big money, would you still be doing this? Is this arbitrary, your project, or is it resonating from a deeper level?
Uh-huh.
And if you can, I've studied Elon Musk, for instance, with Tesla. Uh, he resonates on a deeper level. Otherwise, he couldn't have the stamina to go on and go on. So yeah, it's like having a mission, but having it connected deeply inside you. Because we need so much energy and there's so much naysaying and so much noise in the world. So we have to have this uh, volcanic energy to pour into our projects, I think.
Yeah. That
What do you think?
well, in entrepreneurship, it's called inner locus of control. That means
Yeah,
what it does mean, in I mean, people that study entrepreneurship, what it means is that the opinion that you have of yourself is more important than the
yeah,
opinion you think other people have. So
yeah,
whenever somebody tells you something that dissonates with what you
yeah,
think, you stop and you take that locus of control and you bring it back in. And I
yeah,
particularly, I mean, having been a professor for many years, I particularly think that the educational system takes the locus of control out, because the
yeah,
professors have so much power over your
yeah,
life. They grade you, then you have power over your grants, they have power of whether you graduate or not, you have power on your social status. And
yeah,
I noticed that for me as a professor, it was very difficult to, especially when I was working in undergrad. Graduate students are a little bit different, but when I was working with undergrads, it was very difficult to get them to find the answers inside. And in
Yeah.
particular, to get them to find what is that thing that makes them ignite,
Yeah.
makes them
Yeah.
alive. Where is the light that comes from within? Because they're
Yeah.
so used to being judged by the professors uh,
Yeah.
that they're just losing their self. I think so. So
Sounds a little bit like the movie Robin Williams. What's his name? Dead Poets Society,
um,
where he
yeah,
tries to get people to stand up for themselves.
yeah, yeah. I did
Yeah.
have that. I did have that. And when the students came to my class, the very first day, I asked them to rate themselves on skills and on
Yeah.
passion. What are you good at, and what do you enjoy doing? And
Yeah.
and sometimes they say, well, the typical case in art, for example, well, your mom is an art person or creative person, but typical case in art is, there's not a lot of excitement about being a painter or being a dancer because society perceives that maybe you're not good enough unless you are in business or maybe you're a doctor.
Yeah.
I met with these couple of siblings. They're from Bosnia, and the brother has an MBA, but she's a volleyball player. And and I met his sister, and his sister was kind of a mentee for me, and I helped her find some work with VC. Super nice siblings, and she's going back, and then she said, "Oh, my brother's here. Why don't we meet it?" And this guy has the look of a big sports person, big guy, very very strong, and he's like, no, I'm a volleyball player. I like to play volleyball. I go all over the world, and I only have until I'm 35, and then I don't know if I'm going to be a coach, but I have the MBA as a side thing, which people
That's
usually have
nice.
the other thing. And I joke and I said, well, my father would say, you're such a loser. And then they laugh and say, that's what my parents said. That's what my grandma says.
Yeah.
But he's very happy. And there's no
Yeah. Yeah.
price on being happy. And he said,
No.
I like playing volleyball, so why not? And
Yeah. It takes guts to do that.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And I think we need more people to do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. How do you think then, if everybody is focusing on doing what they like to do, how do we manage that with a capitalist society? How do you think people can make enough money or can create wealth by doing something like that?
Well, not everybody can make a living doing what they love, but you can always spend time doing what you love. And maybe you need income from somewhere else.
You decide to make sure that you spend time on doing things that you like.
Yeah, like if you're a poet, not much money in poetry unless you strike it really big. But you love doing it, so you can do it for a few hours a day if you want. But maybe you need an income from doing some other work.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, that is true. That is true, but it's still,
The trap is doing just the work and not pursuing what you really want. I think that's a trap because you think you have to do it for money and then you resist it because there's no money in it. So that's the trap.
that's very smart. That is very smart. Yeah. Yeah, and you can just do it for the pleasure of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I like gardening, and I'm sure my potatoes and my tomatoes are the most expensive ones in the US because I pay the stupid property taxes of Silicon Valley. But I still do, and I still like going and digging them up, and
Yeah,
yeah.
but that's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, no, well, I enjoy doing it, and people
Yeah.
ask me, why do you do it? Just gives me pleasure. There's no reason for I
Yeah.
don't need to do it for money. So you can do things for pleasure.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, no, that's good. And tell us a little bit more about where you are at the moment,
Physically or how do you
physically.
mean?
And how did you get
Physically.
there? Yeah, you're
Yeah,
skipping.
I live in Bali. I came here 10 years ago. Actually, I'm born in Sweden and I'm raised in Sweden. And I was kind of looking for a new horizon. And I always, since my mother is Italian, I always longed to live in Italy, both for the climate, but also for the more emotional culture where you express and you enjoy good food and da 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 da. So I was thinking I'm going to Bali and then maybe I spend 6 months here and 6 months in Italy and then go back and forth. So I always have good sun and good weather. But then I got stuck here. I don't know. I just stayed.
Did you ever go back to Italy? Not even 1 year?
Not yet, but I will. So during these 10 years, I didn't do leadership training at all, which was very good because you get too ambitious in any line of work. You get too ambitious, and that kills the ease and the simplicity.
Yeah.
In my case, anyway. So now
Yeah.
I'm ready because I have nothing to prove. So I feel very relaxed.
And are you going to tell us about the book that you wrote that I thought
Yeah,
was fascinating? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. It's called Fun, the Human Advantage. Leadership in the Age of AI. And it's based on a book I wrote 25 years ago, actually. It was a bestseller in the Business Book Club. It was the number one for 3 years in a row, which is fantastic. So I updated that and I reframed it for AI and the clarity about the noise to clarity process, you could say.
It's a
So,
fun book to read too, because
oh, that's great.
yeah, I read it on my flight to Berlin and I really enjoyed it. And I'm like, oh, here's another book. And then I really enjoyed it. Very,
Oh,
yeah.
that's super.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
talked about that book recently. There was a Women in AI meeting, and I said, "Oh, you need to read this book. It's written by my cousin, so I need to get that out of my mind. But it's written by this
Oh.
great author." But I said, "It's written by my cousin. You totally need to read it. It is fun, and most of
Yeah,
things in
great.
AI are not fun. They're like, okay, productivity.
Yeah. Yeah, the fun is I describe it as levels of fun. The first is giggling and enjoying telling a joke, but it's all the way up to spirituality, which is blasphemy for some people to call it fun, but it's actually enjoyable, isn't it? And the most important, I think, that touches people is that I write about my own experience. And this is a theme also in my life, but also in my work now, to help people live their own experience, because we are so used to labeling things and so used to having theories that we don't see what's really happening in front of us. So to have our senses opened and see what's happening to me. For instance, when I go on Facebook, we have learned, oh, dopamine is hitting. Dopamine is hitting. So we label that and we're not in the body and see, am I getting tired or not? Oh, this is too much. So I put away the phone because we're living our lives a bit from our bodies and a bit from
Yeah.
our senses. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a theme in the book. That's why it touches, because I tell my own stories. I don't, I'm not much of conveying other people's theories too much because it doesn't connect with me. Yeah.
It's not authentic to you. No, it's an easy to read book, and it has a lot of wisdom. So I really enjoyed it. And
Yeah. Great.
yeah, yeah.
Super. I'm happy.
Well, I'm happy too because I can brag about my cousin,
Yeah.
but my crazy cousin, Swedish cousin that lives in Bali, and that
Yeah.
makes it. It just makes it. It talks about happiness. Yeah, it talks about happiness. Have you thought about what is your legacy? Because I think about that a lot. I
Yeah.
fell off a horse when I was a teenager and I died, and I saw myself dead. And then 3 days later, I woke up. I didn't die completely. They returned. They said, "No,
Oh,
unfinished goods. go back and finish.
Not ready yet.
Not ready yet. Yeah, I don't know. But I do remember being very sad about that. And
Ah,
I do remember a few days later when I woke up, sort of realizing I have a second chance. So I'm very intentional about how I live my life. And of course, I've had periods where I'm completely overwhelmed by choices and responsibilities,
mhm.
and I have to do this, I have to do that. And sometimes, you just have to do those things. But,
Yeah.
and I'm very privileged now to be at this stage. But I always think about what am I living? How am I using my life? And that's a question that I ask a lot of our guests. So,
Mhm.
what do you think your legacy is going to be, or for people that might never have the opportunity to meet with you in time and space, what
Yeah.
is the message for them?
Well, the message is go from noise to clarity. So I don't really think in terms of legacy because that's in the future. But I do think about doing things that resonate with me. And when I do that, it's for the greater good. I don't like to be negative with people or criticize people unnecessarily. Um, so it will create some waves, but I don't design the waves, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it's like doing my thing in a good way that will create the right ripples, I think. So it's very simple like that.
Oh, that's really good. And as you mentioned, it's very simple. Yeah. I
Yeah,
actually I don't see you like that. I see you more like an enzyme. But of course, I come from biology and chemistry. So
yeah,
you have an enzyme that accelerates things and disappears. So
yeah,
it comes in, reacts, shifts a little
yeah,
thing, everything gets accelerated and says, and leaves. And
yeah,
before we knew that, because it's so fast, before we knew that, we didn't know what happened.
yeah.
And now with more time and with more calm, we go in deeply and say, okay, what is really happening here? So
Mhm.
that's how I see. That's what I got also from the book. It's like, hey,
Ah,
these are things that, but of course, I look at things from biology because that's what
yeah,
I,
but that's super, super.
yeah. So I think that, how do people connect with you?
I have a website called wetterholm.com, which is my last name. And from there, you can email or you can go on WhatsApp. And I have a Facebook page so far and a LinkedIn.
Yeah, I think I'm going to ask LinkedIn to promote this because everybody keeps talking about LinkedIn at one point. It's such a great
Yeah,
platform to connect.
yeah.
So, do you have any last words for our audience?
Uh, yeah, I think be aware of the noise when you don't feel good and you don't feel you when you feel overwhelmed and you don't feel like, yes, I want to really do this today. What's the noise that preventing you to find a clear signal to just do what you do?
Great. Stefan, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you. It was fun.
So, this is an interesting episode because it shows a person with very different cultures, coming from Sweden and being born and raised in Sweden, with an Italian mom, with the different cultures, and then going to Bali and continuously working on slowing down, enjoying the moment, decompressing. I hope you enjoy the episode. Very different to the other episodes that we have. And I'll see you in the next podcast. Thank you so much for being with us. Thanks for tuning in to our Wealthing Talks. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. To stay connected, visit us at wealthing.com. This is Alicia Castillo Holley, your host, and until next time, yours in Wealthing.